I'm Ezra Levant with TheRebel.media. I am here in London, England, at a fascinating meeting of parties on the right. And by that I mean parties with a conservative or free market agenda, but also parties that believe in populism in the nation state. And joining me now is a member of the European Parliament from Austria, from the Austrian Freedom Party, named Georg Mayer. Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for being here today.
Pleasure meeting you. Thanks for coming.
Well, it's very interesting to me. I think that we know in North America that things are moving in Europe. In your own country, for example, Sebastian Kurz has made a reputation for being a conservative, a populist, and he's quite young. Tell me where you fit in the political spectrum in Austria.
In Austria, I mean, Kurz was 2 days ago at a meeting with Trump in the United States. I don't know if you know it.
Yeah, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, I saw the picture of them together. That's interesting.
The last Austrian chancellor was there 13 years ago, so that's something really is seen in Austria, you know.
Are you in a coalition with Sebastian Kurz?
In a coalition.
Would you say that your party is slightly to the right of his, or are you just sort of an allied national party?
Well, we are on the right side in the political spectrum.
I think some people who don't speak German, don't follow Austria closely, may have a prejudice and say, oh, right-wingers from Austria, they must be alt-right, they must be neo-Nazi.
No, we call ourselves patriots. It's not, it's a question of defining, or that's not the point. The point is that we want to listen to the people, talk about the problems the people have, and that's what we do since years already. The party is a really old one, actually. Its roots comes from 1848, from the revolution. And we are in the political system in Austria a long time already. It's our third time that we're in the government, in a coalition. And it works well because we do our job that we were voted for.
I should tell you, I don't believe in that slur. I'm just telling you that I think where I come from, in Canada, in the United States, and probably here in the UK, people find it easy to dismiss conservative populists, or frankly anyone who calls them a patriot. They find it easier to smear them and defame them than to listen to them.
Well, but only our enemies do that, I think so. Huh? But we are attacked all the time because of our politics.
How about in Austria? Is the Austrian media, does it give Sebastian Kurz, does it give your party a fair shake?
Well, some do, some don't. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but there's also a change going on because they see the government is doing a really good job on everything, not only immigration, but all the other things. The economy is running really well. So most of the people are really happy with the government.
I look at Europe and I see that in Eastern Europe, this patriotic, nationalist, populist movement seems to be strong. In Poland, in Hungary, very much so. Even I'd say in those Eastern German parts of Germany, where you see the Alternative for Deutschland, is there a split between Eastern Europe and Western Europe on these issues?
Well, you can think so, but at the end it is not, because we have upcoming also a patriotic party in Spain, Vox.
Right.
We have in Italy the Lega, which is really strong. I'm talking about 33%.
Right.
They will be with around 25 members or 30 members in the next European Parliament. So these are strong forces. Together with Austria, you know, we have a really strong force all over Europe.
You mentioned immigration, and one of the things that we in North America know the most about Europe is Angela Merkel's decision about 5 years ago just to open the borders and invite in the world. And the disasters that that's caused in terms of, well, there's economically, in terms of crime, in terms of cultural dislocation. What has Austria's approach been in recent years? How have you been different from the Merkel approach?
Well, not with the old government, because there were the socialists in the government. They said, okay, that's exactly what we want. There were people coming, just running across the border. No one asked them, who are you? What do you want here? Do you have an ID? No one asked them. And so that's not our kind of politics. And that was the big mistake, I think, from Merkel years ago. So they changed a lot in European politics.
So what is Austria's approach to migration today?
Well, we say if you have a right for the UN migration contract, then of course you can come. But if you don't have, and if you just an illegal immigrant, we don't want you, and we send you back. And that's what the government, our minister for internal affairs, does.
Now, my understanding is that the Muslim population of Austria is quite high. It's one of the highest in Europe, along with Germany and France and Sweden. How has Austria tried to integrate Muslim migrants? Has Austria tried? Cultural norms. I remember when Austria had leaflets telling Muslim migrants how to behave in a public swimming pool. Don't grope women, don't undress. Like, it was shocking. Has Austria made any progress in integrating migrants who are already there?
Well, that's a difficult issue, because what we say is first you have to learn the language. If you don't know the language of the country you want to live in,
And are they learning the language?
You cannot be welcome and you cannot be integrated. So we changed a lot in learning. You now have, for example, only the right to get an apartment from the state if you can prove that you can speak German.
Is the burqa, the niqab, is it allowed on the streets of Austria?
It is. Is it the burqa? I think it's forbidden. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Because
Do you see any? Do you see any burqas around? Like, I mean, or the
you don't see the burqa actually, because in Vienna there are a lot of immigrants, but you don't see the burqa anymore.
Has there been any terrorist?
As far as I know, it's forbidden.
Sure. Okay, it's interesting. Has there been any terrorist attacks in Austria? Some stabbings?
Small ones, you know, not really. And then the former government tried to say, no, it was not a terrorist attack, it was a crazy guy. There was one attack in my home country, in my home city, Graz, and there were never proof that it was a terrorist attack. But at the end, Austria is a small country, you know, so they focus on other countries, Belgium, England, of course, you know.
Last question. You've been very generous with your time. I know I've pulled you away from the conference. What is the purpose of the conference, and what do you hope to accomplish by meeting other parties on the right here?
Well, thanks to Janice, I think it's already the second Brexit conference, and the issue is what's going to happen. You know, everybody is like waiting and say, what's going to happen on the 28th of March? No one knows. And I think the Commission plays a really tough game, a hard game, and not a fair game on Great Britain by teaching all the other member states, like, say, don't do that, it's a big mistake, but they don't move, you know. It's not like you're not partner on the same level. They try to put pressure on Britain, and I think it's a dangerous game. Both of the parties are playing, the Britain and the European Commission.
Very interesting. Well, I sure enjoyed meeting you today.